Welcome, everybody, to a brand new episode of Ball Hogs PH from the Digital 5 studios. My name is Aaron Ataida, alongside, of course, Mr. Jinno Rufino. And all the way in Las Vegas, you have Mo to complete the cast. So we're complete.
Hey.
We are here to talk about basketball. And we got a lot of things to discuss, guys.
All right.
All right, so let's start it out. Mo, you go first.
Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. All right. I was waiting for direction.
No, I'm sorry.
I think one of the big quotes that I came across this week, and I'm sure you saw it on your social media feed, or if you watch, sports TV or listen to podcasts like this, radio shows, whatever, is that Kobe Bryant said that he thought the MVP race should just, instead of it being given to one of the two guys, that it should be a co-MVP thing because both guys are having such great years. We're talking about Harden and Westbrook, obviously, and that it would be impossible to choose a winner of the two. So let's just go ahead and co-MVP it, which, if I can, recall correctly, that's never been done. I mean, we've seen co-Rookie of the Years, we've seen co-MVPs in an All-Star game or whatever, but not in a regular season MVP. Jinno, let me kind of throw it out to you first, since you're a Kobe guy. Mm-hmm. Do you agree with him on this one? Is this something that he's kind of... Is this crazy talk from Bryant?
Yeah, it's crazy talk. Come on. I don't. Yeah, I think even in his head, he doesn't really believe it should be co-MVP. He's saying that because he's being interviewed, and it's he likes both of those guys, both Russ and James Harden, and one's his body armor buddy, the other one is his Nike buddy, and he's totally not. He's not exactly. He knows that. How important the MVP is, right? There's so much weight on that award that even though he just has one, it's still something that's too precious to share. But do you
think
someone.
Kobe, as competitive as he is,
and that's
certainly
part of it.
He's critical about how soft people are, you think he's going to take a soft stance regarding this? I mean, this is Kobe Bryant, a guy who speaks his mind, doesn't really hide his opinions. Why would he take the diplomatic route on this one just because they're corporate buddies? I mean, this is Kobe. He doesn't give a
He sees a little bit of himself in both of those guys.
I see. He sees more of himself in Russ.
Yeah, but he said it before that I do recall one of the interviews I heard him say that if he was to start a franchise today, he would choose James Harden.
What?
So I mean, it's so. Obviously, he's more like Russ than James Harden, but I just think that part of it also is I really don't think he's watched a lot of basketball, watched a lot of NBA.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of traveling
this season. So in his head, it's what he hears and what he's read a little bit, but he hasn't really watched that much. So I wouldn't put that much weight on what he said about the co-MVP.
What about you, Mo? Do you think that there should be a co-MVP? I mean, we've been talking about this MVP race forever.
I mean, what I'd like to happen is one of them win it. Of course, my vote goes to Westbrook, but I don't vote. I'd like that if one fan base will feel like they were robbed, or there'll be a discussion about it at barbershops and Starbucks for 10 years going, I don't know, I thought Harden should have got it. Oh, I thought Westbrook should have got it. Plus, I still think it's a three-man race. I really not completely sold that it should be either of the two, even though I have Westbrook on top. And again, as I said in past episodes, I might even have Kawhi at number 2, and that's probably just because of a bias that I'm not a big fan of James Harden. I think 2 episodes ago, we said it was a 4-man race, but that, I think, has now cut down. LeBron clearly no longer in that conversation with how awful the Cavaliers have been this month. And I don't know, man. I think a co-MVP minimizes their accomplishments. There should be just one true winner. If you give a co-MVP, I think it even lessens maybe what the guys have done because it's been so historic. Probably more historic for Westbrook, though, than for James Harden. And then again, though, Kawhi, man, I wish he just got more respect. It's just not sexy enough for him to be in the conversation. But I absolutely think he's there.
I completely agree. I think that if you take away the sole winner, because there's never been a co-MVP in the NBA ever. It's only happened once in the ABA,
right.
and it's mainly because this is an award that needs to be given to one person, and it will spark a lot of debates, and that's good for the league. The more people will be discussing it, that they will be fighting about it, they will be debating about it, and having it on shows like this. saying, "Oh no, it should have been Harden because he had a better record," or it should have been Westbrook because he did a triple double, or it should have been Kawhi because he's the best player in the league.
Whoa.
Okay. Best two-way player in the league.
What do you mean? Whoa? You think
I
that
still
maybe
think
Kawhi's
LeBron's
not
better. I still think LeBron's
Well,
better
listen,
than
again, that's like another topic.
Yeah.
But
But yeah,
it depends
it's a
on
little-
what we're talking about. Is LeBron better this season? No. Is he the best player alive on the planet? When Aaron says Kawhi's better, I might think Kawhi might be the choice of the best basketball player in the world right now.
I completely agree. I think that when you look at whatever James Harden, what Kawhi Leonard has done this year and can do on both sides of the court, that is what we've always been wanting to see LeBron do. You know what I mean? We've always been complaining.
No, but we have seen LeBron. We've seen LeBron do this. We've
Yeah.
seen LeBron be the dominant two-way player. But remember, gosh, we're going off topic, but it's okay.
Yes.
Let's just let the discussion go. There are people who, especially this year, because Westbrook and Harden seem to be the front runners, that is the MVP award the best player in the NBA award. It's not. It's
not.
the best season, right? But let's say that it's the best player award. And everybody says, it has to be LeBron. Are you sure it has to be LeBron? Do you see what Kawhi did to LeBron yesterday? You see what the Spurs did to the Cavaliers and took them apart? Kawhi has outplayed LeBron in the two meetings that they've had this season. Kawhi's a better two-way player at this point
of his career.
Where they both
where
are
they
in their
both are.
career. So is LeBron the best player on planet Earth? I might disagree. When you take them one-on-one, and that's what we saw last night, and we saw this again in another time earlier this season, you've seen Kawhi, in fact, take apart LeBron. And so what are we going to do here? We're going to talk about who's the most valuable. Yeah, they're both most valuable caliber players. Who's the best player on the planet? Well, they're both dominant two-way stars. But when they go one-on-one, who's winning? It's still Kawhi. And Kawhi's taking them apart. While the Spurs are better, they're both great, fantastic A-list teams. And yet the Cavaliers are defending champions, and a lot of people have them favored to win the NBA Finals, if you don't take into consideration this awful month they've had.
Yeah.
Well,
So the two teams are right there. They're both elite teams, and Kawhi takes them.
I agree.
Well, you know what? Going back to the topic, which is the co-MVP,
Yeah.
right?
Let's
It's
give
not
it the
going
four of them.
It's not going to happen because the way they vote for that, you're going to list down 5 names.
Yeah.
So it's virtually impossible for there to be a co-MVP. It's not going to happen. Just because.
Did you say impossible mathematically? Or like, what do you mean?
Mathematically, it's impossible.
How's that impossible?
It's highly improbable.
It's high. Okay, fine.
It's highly improbable. It's completely different from
yeah.
It's
impossible.
highly improbable.
Yeah.
The probability of it for the two guys to have exact same votes.
Yeah.
And not it's. I just don't see it happen.
If they both get 50% first.
It's like the
first
Cubs
pick.
and the Indians meeting in the World Series. No.
Hey, the Cubs won. But I for one hope that there's no co-MVP. It's probably not going to happen. My vote still goes to Wes if he gets that triple double. But if not, it's Harden. That's how I go. And we've been updating this. We've been updating this on a weekly basis.
Okay.
All right.
Well, as the conversation should, because it's a season that will be remembered because of these two guys.
Exactly.
Right? I mean, so it's fine with me that people kind of
and it goes back. It goes back to it. I mean, and Mo, I will commend you on this. It was so right when you said it the first time that this conversation came up here on the show. You said at the end of it all, it will depend on who had the better narrative. And we are here with about 8 games to go. We still don't know who has the better narrative, and that's why we don't know who's the MVP. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah, and I think, the narrative meaning at this point, the triple-double seems to be a lock because he only has to average, 7 and 6, for the rest of the games, which is completely doable for Russell Westbrook. I think a big part of it now is where they place the Thunder in the seeding. Like, if they can get to the 5th seed, which is their game out right now, then I think the narrative strengthens. I think where Harden does a good job outside of the Rockets being the 3rd seed are his triple-double numbers as well. Like, he has racking up triple-doubles, and he's been doing it with 40-point games, which we've never seen before.
Yeah.
I think that's the sexiest narrative for James Harden outside of the team standings between, say, the Rockets and the Thunder. And that's a really hard one to beat because he is getting triple-doubles. Not at the same rate as Westbrook, but not that far off. And by the way, he does it sexier.
He does, and it's you look at the, I mean, I know he doesn't play any defense, but so it's so hard to vote for him just because of that part.
Yeah.
But like, he's not that far away when it comes to the number of rebounds. Right, it's just
no, he's not. He's not at all. Right, and that's
So
why he's got a lot of triple doubles himself, man.
It's been a joy to watch James Harden play this season as well.
Well, we will update.
But will people take against him that he's got a better team, and that's why you get my point? Is Russell's doing more with less, and yet he's only a game out of the 5th seed, where he has no business being.
Yeah, not at all.
So. That part of it
when they go
is so
head to
strong.
head, when they go head to head though, like James holds his own, if not beats Russ.
Well,
no, not on individual numbers. He does not.
on
Russell
individual
beats
numbers.
him,
But
but
it's-
the
they're-
team
they're
wins.
so
But that's because they're.
close.
Yeah, but they're much. The Rockets are a much better team. The Rockets are better. They're the 3rd best team in the NBA. So of course those
I
games
agree.
aren't going to be like on the favor of the Thunder. Russ gets him though in stats if we're talking about this as an individual accomplishment thing because it's the MVP award we're talking about. By far the Rockets are going to beat their ass if they ever
Definitely.
met up in the playoffs. I just don't know if that's a sexy enough story for Harden to take the award. Because if it is, then I feel bad because Kawhi Leonard should be the better story because he has the better team with less players.
I guess it would be a good topic to bring it up next week. If you took out all the narratives and just looked at the stats and looked at the numbers, then who would be the MVP? We'll be talking about that next week, maybe. But for now, we got to move on into our next topic. And it is about the Cleveland Cavaliers. Are they struggling? What's going on, Jinno?
Well,
it's an understatement. Are they struggling? They're awful. Yeah, I mean, the Brooklyn Nets have a better record in March than the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Brooklyn Nets, who have a winning percentage of 21%, like they're better than the Cavaliers this month.
it's really ridiculous, right? When you think about it, because they're such a talented team that and they lost the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference as we speak right now.
Yes.
The Boston Celtics are number 1. The Cleveland Cavaliers are number 2
By half a game.
by half a game. But still,
Yeah.
you look at that lineup, you look at the Cavs, and they have no business being number 2 in the Eastern Conference. None, 0.
Okay, but they are.
But they are.
So what's
like,
the deal?
does it really matter? Like, are they? Obviously, they're struggling. No matter what Coach Tyrone Lue says, that
What was the quote? This is
I
hilarious.
want to get this right.
It sounded like a college basketball coach in the UAAP talking about preseason tournaments.
No, it sounded like somebody in high school basketball in
Mga Prada midgets.
sorry, not even high school basketball. Inter barangay, inter color. Anyway. Here's what Tyrone Lue says. We've got to hold back. We can't show our hand early because there are some good teams and we don't want them to be able to come into a series and be able to adjust to what we do.
What?
Well, he was asked, a lot of it was the defensive side, right? So he doesn't want to show their defensive schemes to like the Wizards, to some of the other teams that they could be in a heated in a series in the playoffs.
Well,
but they shouldn't be.
They should not be doing that.
They should not be. Well, number one, they shouldn't be doing that. Number two, they shouldn't be. You look at that lineup; they shouldn't be close to these teams. So I really do think that they are. They are a little bit older.
Are they struggling though?
They're struggling. They're struggling.
Is this a cause for concern?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. I think they should still have enough material to get out of the West. In the Eastern Conference, but they're gonna get their asses handed to them if they meet the Spurs, if they meet even the Rockets, even of course the Warriors. So even if they meet any of those 3 teams in the finals, they have no chance.
Mo,
Zero.
How much concern should the Cleveland Cavaliers have?
I feel like week to week we're a different group of people hosting this show because
Yes.
I swear you had the Cavaliers winning the finals, Jinno.
I did.
Just a couple months ago.
I
so
did.
now
I did,
Now,
but-
now it's from that to they have no chance.
But
with 3 teams.
well,
You know,
here's the reason why.
you had the Cavaliers winning against the Warriors with a healthy Kevin Durant. Now you're saying that they can't even beat the goddamn Rockets.
Here's the
So
reason
I'm
why.
confused.
Here's the reason
What
why I'm
has
saying
changed?
that. What has changed? Look at them now. They weren't this bad.
They've been
weren't-
this bad defensively
No,
all year
not-
long.
Not
Yes, they
like
have.
this.
Yes, they have.
Not,
No,
not
no,
like
listen.
this.
Since the All-Star break, they're the second worst defensive team in the league. Okay,
To the
fine.
Lakers are
But
number 1.
I believe so, right?
Yes.
But prior to the All-Star break, they were also in the 20 range in terms of defensive
They're not
teams in the
dead.
league.
They're not dead last. Technically, they're dead last now because the Lakers are tanking.
But you can't win in the NBA playoffs or especially a championship by being in the 20s. No team has done that. No team has won an NBA Finals without being in the top 10 since the Lakers did it 16 years ago. You have to be there. They were never there the entire year. That's why I've been against the Cavs winning.
Also,
they can't
but
play
they've
defense.
piled
They've
on the
always
losses.
not been able to play
The number of losses.
It doesn't matter. They're half game out. It doesn't matter if how many losses they have. They go into the number 1 seed. They can go into the number 2 seed. They can overtake the Celtics by tomorrow. They're not the 8th seed. They're not the 7th seed. They're not the 6th. They're just half a game out of number 1. What has changed?
They don't.
Nothing has
they
changed.
Don't
They have a
look.
bad
They
month.
don't look interested. They don't look.
Yeah,
interested.
well, I mean,
and you think a LeBron James-led team is not going to look interested come 2 weeks from now when the playoffs
I'm
start?
saying if they were playing like this come the finals, they're gonna lose.
No, okay. All right.
They're gonna get better.
Uh-huh.
They're gonna get better. They're going
So-
when the playoffs start, and especially if they feel a home loss in the playoffs, the competitive juices are gonna start flowing
Okay, so
again.
then
I think it's an exaggeration. Listen, LeBron has been to 6 straight NBA Finals. We know this, right?
Yes.
And yet he's only been the number 1 seed, or his team, let me correct, has only been the number seed 2 times in the 6 finals.
And that was the last year, right?
Which
Oh,
is
no,
why,
last year.
Yeah,
which is
they-
why
they
I'm
don't-
asking: does it really matter? Or
Yeah,
does,
Well,
is
no, but
there
I'm
cause for
asking
concern?
you, how do you have them getting their asses kicked by 3 teams, the Warriors, Spurs, and the Rockets, and yet they're not the 8th seed. They're half a game out of number 1. They're still an elite and the class of the conference, and you had them beating a fully healthy Warriors team. And now you have them getting their asses kicked by 3 Western Conference teams. Has much changed just because they're not the number 1 seed when LeBron has been to 6 straight finals and only 40% of the time, 30% of the time has he been the number 1 seed. See, I think it's so much ado, but I think we're just exaggerating because it's a really good story to bag on the Cavaliers because they've had such a bad month. Well, they had a bad January as well. My problem with them is, can they win with this type of defense they've been playing all year long?
Yeah.
This has been who they are all. Now they're just an exaggeration of how bad they've been, but they've been this bad. Yet being this bad has got them to the top of the Eastern Conference.
Okay, so the probably another question here is, okay, so they're struggling. They're having a freaking horrible month. And
Yeah.
Boston has taken number 1. Is this more of
Yep.
a reflection of what Boston has done? Because they're 10-4 in this month. They're 8-2 in their last 10. Is this also credit to the Celtics?
A little bit.
That they have really turned on the Jets.
a little bit.
And not been relying
you
that
can't-
much on IT.
Yeah, but the Celtics can't catch the Cavs if the Cavs not lose.
They
If
don't
the Cavs
lose.
don't lose,
Yes.
right? Obviously, that's just how the math works. I think the Celtics, we're talking about defense here, right? And defense is so important as we get closer to the postseason. The Celtics started off with a really bad defensive efficiency team this season. Now they found themselves back in the top 10, where historically statistics say you have to be there if you want to make a championship run, which again, Cleveland has it, and we haven't seen a team do it again in 17 years. Or 16 years. I think this is what we call improvement on the defensive end. A team like the Celtics that started in the top 20 defense, or at least in the 20, bracket of defense, and now they're in the top 10. They have gotten better on that end, and look, it has paid off. They've slowly climbed their way to the number 1 seed for now in the Eastern Conference. So there has to be credit for the Celtics. Their defensive, the credit has to be on the defensive end, in my opinion, for them. Yes, we've seen Isaiah Thomas, go through these incredible streaks of fourth quarter heroicness, but it really is the defense that has bumped up the Celtics to this number 1 seed. And that's what the Cleveland Cavaliers have to do.
Yes, and if you look at IT's numbers, actually his points in the fourth quarter have actually gone down because they didn't have to rely on him in the fourth quarter anymore because their defense was
'cause
having
they're so
them
strong
in the
defensively.
lead. Yeah, exactly. Before, and that's what we were seeing. He needed to turn on like every single switch to get that win in the fourth quarter. In this, since then, we haven't really been talking about IT in the fourth because he wasn't needed. That's credit to the defense of Boston. I think that it is a concern for that Cleveland and we were saying it for the longest time. Mo, you were saying it. You cannot be in that bottom 20, that bottom 10 rather.
You can't even be outside of the 10.
Yeah, so it's the bottom 20.
You can't be outside of the top 10.
You have to be
you can. It's possible again, right? Not highly improbable that you're going to win a title if you're not a
Where were they
top
last
10 team.
year? Where were they last year?
What was their defensive rating last year? They were
Give
in
me
7.
10 seconds here. I'll get it for you in a second.
would
They were
look at
9.
it 'cause-
So they were 9
9,
last year.
okay.
Golden State was 8.
Wow.
Holy crap! And this year,
San Antonio was number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this year they're 22nd, if I'm not mistaken.
my
Cleveland is. So
God.
that's how far they've fallen off, and they're second worst since the All-Star break.
So is this
they've been bad all year.
Is this because of Tyronn Lue getting in an entire season? That they did not focus on defense at all? I mean, because you got to admit, last year it was still Blatt that was running it until the All-Star game.
I don't know. I mean, it could be a variety of reasons why.
Yeah, I mean,
they're
the
not an elite
personnel
defensive
didn't
team.
change all that much. I mean, Kyrie is still the same,
I just don't see the
unspoken
effort.
bad.
I just don't see the effort.
So then that's a coaching thing.
Maybe. I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
but effort I think is something that will turn on because what's going to happen is you have LeBron on your team. He's the leader of your team.
Yes.
He demands excellence. And come playoff time, we've always seen LeBron step it up. So I think even though we're bringing
So they're
up this
coasting.
stat, they're a bad defensive team, they seem like they can. If one team can go from really, really bad and turn the tides and all that, it would be the Cleveland Cavaliers
Yeah.
because of their personnel.
so basically they're coasting right now.
So
I wouldn't say they're coasting because I don't think NBA players at a high level, that's Kyrie, LeBron, and the crew that he runs with, I don't think they have what it takes to be lazy. But maybe this is them being them, and then they turn it up come playoff time.
yeah, but
So it's a cause for concern.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to win the NBA title, and I never thought they would.
Not
this year.
I think that they might be a little bit overconfident about this. That if you're coasting 7-8 games away from the playoffs, this is when you're supposed to be turning it on.
Yeah,
this
but is
the
he
time that you should be-
coasting when he's been complaining for months now that he doesn't have the right personnel?
Well, then he was supposed to finally
Is
get
he-
it.
I don't think the word is coasting. Like, look at Tyronn Lue just said, "Oh, we don't want to show our defensive schemes to other teams because they might prep for us." You're the goddamn world champions. Why are you acting so scared? What happened? Oh, I can't show my cards. You're the champs. Wear it with pride. Head up, chest out. You
Yes.
guys did the one thing that no one else has ever been able to do. Come down 3-1 in an NBA Finals, and you beat the best regular season team in the history of this sport. And yet, I can't show them my defensive schemes.
Because that best regular season team just got better.
Yeah. So now you're just like,
Dude, stop being a pussy. You are a LeBron James-led championship team. Act like it.
all right.
I don't think.
And if you're flawed, then you're flawed.
yeah, I don't think Tyronn.
Don't make
Lue-
excuses for it.
I don't think Tyronn. As like when he was saying that, I don't think he believed it.
No, he didn't. Halfway through it, he was like, "Oh,
He
what
was
am I
like,
saying? What am I saying?
Like, oh shit!
Oh, God,
Let me
this
just
is
finish it. Whatever.
This is gonna be a shitstorm when this is over." All right. Speaking of being over, let's talk about the 4 more teams that got eliminated this week as we slowly say goodbye to all the teams for the 2016-2017.
It's like your favorite topic.
I love this, dude. I love it
Because you're LeBroning it. You're
Yeah.
hosting the episode by giving us topics like this.
Yeah.
All right, anyway.
I'm loving it. I'm just trying to make sure that we have time for everybody. And then now we will be talking about 4 more teams that got eliminated this week. We start out with the Eastern Conference. What do you remember? What will this season mean for the Philadelphia 76ers? What did the 2016-2017 season mean
Trust
to
the
them?
process. Tanking works, ish. I mean, you got to be healthy after, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, we didn't see Ben
Yeah.
Simmons, which kind of sucked. I wanted to see him, right? I was so desperate to see this guy play in the NBA because we saw in in college in LSU, I think that was like maybe just a portion of how good he could be because he was half-assing it the entire season last year. But I guess we're gonna have to wait till next year.
Yeah, trust the process, but trade one of the process to Dallas, right?
Well, it was the wrong move to trade him. I would trade the other guy. But just seeing this team, which if they're all healthy and they get maybe a couple more pieces, could rise in the Eastern Conference so fast. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know so fast because they were tanking for so long.
Well, it's highly improbable. We'll just use that word again.
Fine. But it's just nice to see this team that has so much history finally get, about to turn. I'm not saying they turned it yet, but they're about to turn it. Right, you could see it's happening, and that's what I'm going to remember most from this season of the Sixers.
Mo.
Yeah, highs and lows. In a sense that the highs. It started off with a low. You lost Ben Simmons, as you guys mentioned, and then it got really high because then we saw what Joel Embiid can be if, with a better team around him, if they can already be a playoff team as soon as next season or the season after. And then the low again, Joel Embiid, surgery again. So and then another high. You see Saric playing so well and likely locking down Rookie of the Year for this season. So it's confusing.
Very confusing.
You want the 76ers to do well because they've been bad for so long. And then you see, though, almost what could be a generational talent in Joel Embiid. But then again, he's getting hurt again. He's got another surgery. So I still don't know what to make of this season with the 76ers. It might be more concerning than optimism. I'm scared for them because I'm scared for their health.
Yeah.
We may never see them being what we think they're supposed to be,
which will
because
be
Joel
such
Embiid's feet.
A pity if we don't see.
Man,
these
imagine
guys.
if that entire team turns into like a 15-man Greg Oden. Oh, that's gonna suck.
Well, I mean, it won't be that drastic, but again, like losing Yao Ming. Losing Yao Ming was huge. I was ready to see, a decade plus of Yao and that skill set with that height and that uniqueness. And then all of a sudden when we lost him to injury, I don't say it broke my heart because I don't want to get cheesy here, but, it made me feel bad. And I think we should be worried about Joel Embiid following suit there. He's so exciting and so entertaining and got a great personality. Again, very much like who Yao was to me, at least. And I just hope that he can get back healthy and not have this being a recurring problem every year.
The one thing I will remember this year is how close Joel Embiid was to dating Rihanna. Like that is my major takeaway there. Man, the guy deserved it. The deal was if he made the All-Star team, he would have had a date with Rihanna, and she agreed to it. And hopefully by next year. Moving on, let's talk about the New York Knicks.
Wow.
What will out of everything that has come out of this season for the Knicks, what will we remember the most? Jinno.
Just like every year.
Nothing new, really.
It's like the drama in Broadway. It's this season they probably came the closest this season to trading Carmelo Anthony. Mm-hmm. Phil Jackson, as great as a coach he was, probably is showing that it's either he doesn't care, or he's just not his basketball mind is stuck in a certain generation, forcing them to play a triangle that is so outdated that it doesn't work in today's NBA in today's NBA because he doesn't have the right pieces as well.
Yes.
If Shaq was there, okay, run the triangle, but he doesn't have Shaq there, a prime Shaq anymore, right? So there's nothing really positive. It's a down year for Kristaps. It's that team with what Derrick Rose said was a super team as well. I don't know where to begin. I don't know where to begin.
It's just been
but
messed up.
The thing that stands out to me the most is the whole Melo drama.
Yeah,
because this is the closest probably we've seen to anybody for the Knicks to trade Melo and for him to drop the no trade clause.
Mo?
Yeah, I think it might have been one of the worst years in Knicks franchise history. I think that's what we're going to take from it. There were really no positives. I mean, it was nice to see Derrick Rose kind of perform, at maybe you can say it was a high level, but After that, it was just all drama with Carmelo. Then you had Joakim Noah now getting suspended, and that was an awful contract. And then Melo and Phil Jackson going at it, making Phil Jackson look like, taking away a lot of shine from what has been such a Hall of Fame career as a coach. He's showcased that he's a poor executive, that they've been awful under his watch. It's just been bad everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think this is maybe going to go down as one of the worst years in the history of the New York Knicks franchise. And if you're a fan of the Knicks, this is, really the bottom of the barrel low point. Mm-hmm. Now, things can change, obviously. Let's find out what happens in the offseason. I think they're going to be one of those teams that are going to be looked at because Phil's contract is up. Let's see where they end up in the draft. Let's see what happens to Carmelo moving into next season. There are going to be a lot of eyes on the Knicks. For a bad team, there's going to be a lot of interest in them.
The one thing that I will remember the most about this year is Charles Oakley embodying what every single fan in New York felt all throughout this entire decade of the downward spiral of the Knicks. And Charles, we will be watching you when you join that 3-on-3 old timer league. You and Spree, that's all I need to see over there. All right, let's move on over to the Western Conference right now. And what will we remember about the Minnesota Timberwolves this year? Is Minnesota the team that we thought could have done the best? Like we projected them as a playoff team.
We did.
I did not. I said that they were going to be a lottery team, and I think it was going to take some time for Coach Thibodeau to get these guys working right, and we saw glimpses of what they could be recently post All-Star break when they threatened to make a playoff run. But again, I think this is the team that next season could possibly still be where they are right now, or they could be the number 4 seed. Like this is the one that's going to see
interesting.
There's a lot of range that can happen next season.
The Bucks.
I can't make any promises on what's going to happen. I thought they were going to be a lottery team this year. I said that in the beginning of this show. And they are where I thought they were going to be, but it's next year. I don't know what's going to happen to them. Can they be a 4 or 5 seed, or they're going to be, rotting here in the bottom again?
With what we've been seeing over the past month, since the All-Star break, do you think that they're starting to finally listen to Tom Thibodeau though?
Yeah, it's a matter of time. He's a great coach.
Yeah,
and it takes time.
It takes time,
especially with young people.
They're very young. Coach Tibbs is a old school type of coach. So both sides had to adjust a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, he doesn't have the vets that he did over in Chicago, that would or even in Boston as an assistant. So it's going to take some time. He needed some time to get used to these guys, and these guys needed some time to get used to him. I just thought that they had enough material, and Coach Tibbs was a good enough coach to get them into at least the 8th or 7th seed in the West. Now. That's for me. That's what I'm going to remember the most from them. I mean, this is a fun team when they're clicking all cylinders, especially in the first 3 quarters of most games this year, and then they just lose it in the end. I mean, that's a sign of a young team, and I think they're just going to get better and better and better. How big or how much of a jump they'll get from this season to next season, that remains to be seen. But I mean, this team, once they figure it out, hey, they have enough material to compete with maybe the Houston Rockets.
The one thing I will remember the most about this year is the roller coaster ride that Ricky Rubio had. Yeah. Man, from being the starting point guard to coming in saying that you're not going to be the starting point guard, take the starting point guard, get traded almost there, almost Chris Paul level. For was that Reggie Jackson, right, to Detroit, and then all of a sudden, that's not going to happen, and yet still finish at this point, be fifth in the league in assists. Oh. That was phenomenal. Great professional move for him, and he actually finally learned how to shoot a 3 and play defense. So
sort of
better than he was last year.
Yeah, and I know you're a fantasy guy, Aaron, very much like myself. I think Karl Anthony Towns is by far the number 1 pick for next season.
Really?
He absolutely. I know you've said he's played awful this year.
No, okay, and then I traded him, so I forgot.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I think we've seen a goddamn monster.
He's a beast,
these past few month and a half, 2 months. It's just scary how this guy has continued to improve. not hit a wall of any kind. Maybe started off a little slow this season, but new coach, new system, all that. Next year, though, fantasy-wise, this is the number one pick. If you don't pick him number one, you're an idiot.
So for everyone out there that had Cat on their team and finally won because of it, when he started to jumpstart, you're all welcome. It happened when I traded him. So, that's all on me.
Why would you trade him?
Hey, man, I got Harden. All right? I had Harden. Okay, let's move on. Our final team that we will say goodbye to, the Sacramento Kings.
Wow.
Oh. Mo?
Like the Knicks of the West. Just disarray. But at least not a lot. Yeah, but not a lot of people are really expecting much from the Kings. This is just the difference between them and the Knicks. Obviously, the big storyline for the Kings is trading away DeMarcus Cousins and, not getting a lot in return, seeing how that's going to fare for them. People mock them with the Buddy Hield to Steph Curry, next. But, it is losing DeMarcus Cousins, one of the best big men in the NBA, and just not getting any kind of all-star value in return or promise. I think that's going to be the biggest thing we're going to remember from the Kings, obviously.
All right.
Not the new arena? Not the
Tanduay?
I don't even know what it's called.
Tanduay
is Brooklyn, right? Yeah.
Tanduay is Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But, man, yeah. I mean, it's the only thing that was really worthwhile with the Kings was Boogie, right? And once... I mean, that's the only time people would talk about them. That's the only time that people would pay attention is if people are talking about Boogie. And I think, Mo, you're absolutely right. That's if you were to think about what's going to be remembered most for this season, it's really just about trading away their franchise face for a
franchise period.
Yeah, period for a bag of chips.
Yeah. Well, we will remember them for being really bad. That's how I will remember.
And now they're trying to get.
They're not going to get anybody.
They're trying to get Sam Hinkie.
All right, we're gonna move on over right now from your NBA topics now into your Gilas Pilipinas topics, as the announcement of the All-Star Week was made, and there are 3 different teams. There is a Visayas PBA All-Stars taking on Gilas. There is a Luzon PBA All-Stars taking on Gilas, and the Mindanao team as well.
So you have to
okay, I have to explain this so that Mo would understand and you would understand as well. So if you are from one of those regions, okay, this is gonna hurt my head a little bit to try and get this.
Mindanao.
If you're from one of the main regions, whether it's Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, and you are selected as an All-Star, whether you are part of the Gilas pool or not, you have to play for that PBA team. Okay, you have to play for the PBA side. So, for instance,
wait.
Junmar Fajardo.
Well, there's Mo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So there's basically there's 3 different games for All-Star Weekend.
Yes,
All-Star Week.
All-Star Week. It starts out in Cagayan de Oro.
It's not going to be East-West or North-South. It's going to be Gilas versus PBA.
It's going to be Gilas versus Visayas.
Right.
Okay.
And then it's going to be
PBA
Gilas.
Visayas.
Yes, and then Gilas versus PBA Luzon, and then Gilas versus PBA Mindanao. So, like Junmar Fajardo, who is from Cebu, will be part of the Visayas team, I believe, because it's from in Visayas. I mean that's just the way that it is. Yeah. So if you're part of the Gilas pool, you can be on 2. You can play 2 games. That's why you look at Matthew Wright. Matthew Wright is on 2 Gilas teams. Junmar is on he's on 1 Gilas and 1 PBA. I'm trying my hardest to really get this out there. If this hurts your head, there's an article that will break it down for you better than this. But the question is, out of the 3 Gilas Pilipinas teams, is any of these teams going to win? Because I don't see any of these teams winning in any of the stops, especially Luzon. Luzon will beat the crap out of this team. I mean, you look at that Luzon.
Yeah, well, their best players are from Luzon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Gilas' best players, right?
Yeah, so I mean,
and they're left with just a bunch of cadets and maybe 2 or 2 guys who are.
It's really
veterans,
just cadets.
It's all cadets.
And Elaine Maliksi and Raymond Almazan. That's it. I mean, that's just like not even. That's not even plausible.
Yeah, but
that they would change.
these are exhibitions. These are meant to just kind of draw interest. Maybe this is one of those. It doesn't matter if it's bad publicity or good publicity. It's still publicity, and that's what we need right now. Everybody's laughing about it. I think everybody knows that the Luzon team is going to crush them, and they've got their best players from there. So, it's an awareness thing, and it's not like the PBA does anything right with their All-Star weekend anyway. So this is just kind of them changing it up, I guess.
This is a big change.
This is huge, man.
But desperate times, desperate measures.
This took away
come on. All-Star weekend, you got how many people in the crowd? 500 or what crazy amount? I mean, that's ridiculous. So it can't get worse than that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I get you there. This goes back to the topic that we had last week. Is this necessary? Does this do anything to help Gilas? Aside from maybe, spending time together, bonding as a team, getting more familiar. And Chot is going to put random people in random rooms together so that they, it's the same way that Jimmy was with Jason or like Jimmy was with Pingris or something like that. That's the only thing I see. It's just bonding time. And it's perfect that it's not in Manila so they can't stay in their own houses.
Yeah. Well, sometimes when they're here, well, maybe not for the All-Star, but sometimes when they're here and there's tournaments, they all stay in a hotel, right? With no social media, no phones, no nothing. But it's the Luzon leg is just
that's gonna be a fun. This is like
former old Gilas versus the cadets.
Yeah, and
yeah.
And they're just gonna kill.
I mean, guys, again, it's only comical if you take it seriously.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's only a problem if you take it seriously.
Yeah.
It's just comical at this point, and I don't think anyone's gonna really care.
I think with the likes of Mark Pingris, L.A. Tenorio, Ranidel, I think these guys are gonna go a little bit easy. On this Gilas team.
Oh yeah. I mean, aside from maybe Japet seeing Arnold Van Opstal in the post and be like, I'm gonna dunk on this fool. I don't really see much happening here.
But the guys who are no longer part of the Gilas program.
I am sad that we don't see Gabe on any list though.
Oh my goodness.
There's no Gabe Norwood on any list. There's no Sol Mercado on any list.
Oh, wow.
There's no Chris Newsom on any list. They are not on any All-Star team.
I'm looking at it right now.
I don't remember the last time we didn't have Jimmy Alapag, Gabe Norwood, and Sol Mercado on any All-Star team.
Well, yeah.
There's 3 freaking All-Star teams, dude, and they're not on it.
They're not on any.
Well,
and plus, those are like Philippine team.
But we have Don.
Hey, gotta give respect to the Cebuano hotshot.
Exactly. All right, we're gonna cut to a break, ladies and gentlemen. One of your debate topics are on the way. Your triple threat is now done. We will be back as we take your calls so you can get on air with us. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody, to Ball Hogs PH. Aaron Atayda, Jinno Rufino, and Mo taking care of you guys here for this episode. And of course, now we reached the moment where we go one-on-one with you guys. You guys get to call us up, and we can throw fisticuffs with our words in our one-on-one debate. And of course, joining us today, we have a Mahindra return import and the man that has a faster second jump than Sean Marion himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ball Hogs PH, Mr. James White. Welcome, brother.
How you doing, fellas? Thank you for having me.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Mo, you have not you've not been able to see James, but man, this dude.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I hear about him clearly. It's kind of like. I mean, it's kind of like, not getting to watch the PBA as often. It's kind of like following a team that's out of market. I follow the stats. Yeah. I kind of know the storyline, but I just don't get the eye test. But I have heard so many things about James, all good things, of course, James. And, yeah, you're supposed to be pretty badass. So it's nice to have you here. It's nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you again for having me, fellas.
All right, so let's get right down to it. We might not be able to out-jump you, but we could probably try our best to debate you. So, James, if you had a topic that we could debate about, what would it be?
The comparison between this class that we have with Devin Booker, Kristaps Porzingis, who's turned out to be a better pro in year 2.
Oh, interesting.
Between
definitely. I mean,
Book.
Yeah, but Booker has Jinno and the nicknames. Booker has Booker has been kind of national center of attention these past few days because of that 70-point game he had in a loss, by the way.
That was on purpose.
Yeah.
Of course. Sure. Yeah. All right. We should debate that as next topic. Do players in fact tank, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so your question is Devin Booker better than everyone else in that draft class sans Karl
Except
Anthony
for
Towns?
Karl Towns. Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, what's your take? I mean, don't give us the reasoning. Just tell us. Do you think he's better than? I'm assuming the big name is Kristaps Porzingis and D'Angelo Russell.
Absolutely. I feel the upside that he has.
All right.
It's coming to fruition. I just see it.
All right.
I
Okay.
see
So
him be the next superstar for Phoenix.
before you give all of your arguments out there, I will be the first to say I completely 100% agree that Devin Booker is better than Kristaps Porzingis. As the resident Phoenix homer, I have to be the one to say that. So, Jinno?
Well, he's definitely better than D'Angelo, right? He's better. He's better than Jalil. He's better than Mario Hezonja. He's better
Miles Turner.
than Willie Cauley-Stein, Emmanuel Mudiay, Stanley Johnson.
Are we gonna
Frank
run through the
Kaminsky.
whole
I'm just
thing?
going through the guys.
Yeah. Let's just go ahead. Come on, Jerry and Grant at 19.
No.
Let's go, Montrez ahead.
These are the names I'm naming are the guys that who were chosen ahead of him.
Yes.
Right? So
So-
he's definitely better than all these guys.
But is he better than Kristaps?
Except for Karl Anthony Towns. I'm a little bit on the fence against it when it comes to Kristaps.
No, so you got to say yes or no.
I think Kristaps is a great talent and he has the size to be able to do so.
But is he better than Kristaps? That's the question.
Will he have a better career?
No, is he better than Kristaps?
They play
They're
different
two
positions.
different positions.
Yeah, but
they're
two
two different
different-
positions.
so-
That's a hard comparison.
Yeah,
It's
but
a very
So
hard comparison.
rephrase the question. Like, would you take Kristaps? Would you take Devin Booker then?
Yeah.
I mean, if we go back to 2015, because there are different positions, so it's hard to validate it. Who's better. How do you want to phrase the question then? Just who would you rather have
Who
Who
on your
would you
team?
take?
Yeah, who would you rather have on your team?
yeah.
Yeah?
I guess that's it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So, Gino, would you have Kristaps or would you have Devin Booker?
I'll have Kristaps. I'll take Kristaps.
Okay. Mo?
Yeah, I'll take Kristaps. Shoot, I don't even know if Devin Booker's better than Miles Turner. So I'll take Kristaps.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Wow.
Dude,
Hey Turner,
if you pick me, I'll tell you why. Yeah, but anyway, let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
All right.
James. So I'm with you on this. I think Devin Booker is better than Kristaps Porzingis right now, and better than Miles Turner, for crying out loud. But you get to decide, who do you want to debate? You want to debate the king of all debates in Mo, or Gino, who will give you a brand new nickname by the end of the show. I guarantee you that.
I choose the guy who just said Miles Turner.
Oh,
There you go.
No,
okay.
yeah. No, I mean that wasn't my answer. My answer is Kristaps, but I think he might even be. I think Miles Turner might even be better than Devin Booker. But
All
yeah,
right.
let's do it, James. And of course, you're our guest. You go first. Tell me why Devin Booker is better than Kristaps Porzingis is kind of the highlight player in this debate.
Well, Phil, I just feel like his game is translatable to the pro game. Ever since college, I thought he stood out more than all the players that they had on Kentucky basketball team.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, I just feel like his approach to a game is kind of like on the level of Kobe. It's like a young Kobe. What I'm looking at is as a young Kobe, his approach, his focus, how he's locked in. His game is all around. Every game he's showing me something new, from the perimeter game to the post-up game. And at the same time, he's competing against superstars and he's handling his own. So that in itself means that with a matter of time, this kid is going to be the truth. And he's only 20 years old. So that right there gives him the most upside.
Ooh,
Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
very good point, Mo. Mo?
Well, the way I look at Devin Booker, I see Klay Thompson. A guy that I think a lot of us we get distracted by the sexiness of the way he can hit 3-pointers and put up a lot of points. 70 points is fantastic. Klay does that. Hey, I don't think he's done 70, but he can do something like that. He can get hot on any given night. But what I'm looking for is consistency every single night. Now, let's just take this season and not talk about what we're going to see 10 years down the line, because it's hard to predict. But I think right now, you take Kristaps Porzingis, or maybe not this season, but at least what we've seen so far, right, with these players. Kristaps Porzingis he puts up numbers, and he's the third option on that team. So he has to defer to guys who have been there before him, who have superstar status, or at least fading superstar status if you think like of a Derrick Rose, and he still has to be able to get his own there. And what are the numbers? 18-7. And with less usage, more efficiency. He shoots, 45% from the field. He blocks shots, 2 blocks per game. He also gets as many 3-pointers as Devin Booker does per game. So where does Devin Booker have him beat? In points scored, but that's because the usage rate is so much higher in Devin Booker. He outscores him by 3 points per game, but look at the efficiency. Much more efficient. Kristaps Porzingis doesn't turn the ball over like Devin Booker does. So he has him beat pretty much in every category except points, and it's nominal considering usage rate, and assist, but that's given because Kristaps Porzingis is a center or power forward, however you want to play him. So I think what Kristaps brings to the table is a wider range of skills, wider range of talent. I'm not sure down the line if his size is going to make him injury prone, and then we can play the what if game. Maybe Devin Booker lasts longer, all of that stuff. But as of right now, and if we're going to redraft, I think you still got to go Kristaps Porzingis for the fact that, man, he has to defer to Carmelo. He has to defer to Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, the point guard of the Knicks, I think early on in the season, averaged maybe like 1 assist to Porzingis per game. It's like some crazy statistic. They don't even freaking pass him the ball, and he's still able to get 18-7, So that's why I think Kristaps is still the better choice. He does it with less shots. He's more efficient. And he does everything that Devin Booker does stats-wise at least, right? Because, it's hard to compare them. They're different positions. He does everything that Devin Booker does stats-wise except score 3 less points, which is really not that big of a deal considering how much shots Booker has to take.
All right. Okay.
So, quick question, though.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
Flip scripts. Imagine Kristaps Porzingis in Devin Booker's place. Do you think he'll be able to put up the production as Devin Booker is doing for the Phoenix Suns, or no?
That's a good question. That's a good question. If Kristaps was the number one option and had the usage rate of Devin Booker, would he be able to do more? Is that what you're saying?
Would the production be more than Devin Booker?
I think so, absolutely. Yeah, because he has more weapons to choose from. He can post up, he can shoot over a guy, he can hit the outside shot. That's why Devin Booker's a fantastic player, but I think he's going to be Klay. That's my comparison, not Kobe. Because Kobe's greatness. Klay is what I see, 21-3. But you're right, man. He's 20 years old. So, gosh, I could be totally wrong. In 3 years, in 2 years, and he goes out and he becomes freaking Kobe. But for what we've seen and what we've had, on good nights, he's Klay Thompson. That's my
okay. All right.
Everybody has their opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
No. That's why it's a debate.
I understand.
I will say this. The one thing that a lot of people, of course, the comparison to Klay has been there since Devin Booker was in the draft class, but he only had 4 3-pointers in that game. It wasn't like it was Klay-like where Klay was just chucking up threes and, hitting 7, 8, 10 threes in that game. He scored 70.
With 10 dribbles.
Yeah. He had 70 with 4 3-pointers. He was 21 of 40 from the field. That is something that people are overlooking. He got to the line, I think it was like 23, 24 times. That is a great way to really separate himself from the comparison to Klay. Because he didn't do it from beyond the arc.
In one game.
Yeah.
For one game. Yes, for one historical night, absolutely. I don't know. I still see Klay. I don't see Kobe yet, but again, who knows? And I think he's going to be a star. I'm with you guys there.
All right. Okay. Jinno, your thoughts?
Look, Booker, last week I sang praises for Devin Booker, and he lived by it because he dropped 70 points.
We should do that again.
He looked like a genius. But I still think he's definitely,
He's not Kobe.
You're asking me.
Yeah.
One of the
20 years old.
ultimate,
It's so hard to
one of
know.
the ultimate Laker homers in the world. If he's gonna be Kobe, I don't think so. But there's nothing wrong with that. He's gonna be his own self, and he's gonna be one of those most prolific scorers. I don't know. I think he's a little bit more. When I think of Klay, I really think of it just like a jump shooter.
Yeah.
Right. I think he's more than that.
Yeah.
Scoring wise, I think he's more than that. Klay's still a better defender and is a much better player than Devin Booker is right now, but he's so young. He looks like he's 14,
Yeah.
and this guy can ball. And he is going to be a superstar, and he's ready. Like I said last week, he has that mentality that he's going after it. He's kind of blatant that he wants to be an all-star,
Yep.
and I think it's going to happen sometime soon.
I think it will too. So,
But I'd still take Kristaps.
okay. So, but I'll still take Devin Booker because that's what I'm supposed to do. James, thank you for joining us, man. Fantastic talking to you on the show, man.
Yeah, good point, man.
Thank
Thanks,
you for having me, Josh.
Hey,
Thank you for having me.
anytime
Thanks,
you wanna talk hoops, you're more than welcome on the show, brother.
Absolutely.
just-
Y'all have a blessed day.
You too, man.
Yeah, you
Thanks,
too.
buddy.
You're really eloquent. You did a great job. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, now we move on into our second caller for this afternoon. We have Benedict, return caller. Benedict, welcome back to the show, man.
All right, thanks for having me again.
Anytime,
Hindi kayo
man.
magsawa.
Oh, no, you joined last week. You won.
You did. You kicked my ass.
You kicked Gino's ass. So I think
Yeah.
Gino might be trying to avoid you this time around.
I don't avoid anyone.
Yeah, so Benedict, what is your topic for today?
My topic today is, should NBA teams tank their games to be able to get a good draft pick?
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
Eh,
Okay.
And my stand is, yes, I'm for teams tanking their games.
Okay. You are for teams tanking their games. Gino, are you for or against tanking?
Dude, what team do I root for?
What team do I root for? Who are the two worst teams in the Western Conference?
The two worst teams in the West are both tanking.
Yes! High five! Yes. So, Mo,
We cannot complain about this. We
At
can't
all.
be against it because both our teams are tanking.
it is the only the consolation I have when they lose. I mean, we talked about it a while ago. Devin Booker scored 70 and we lost. That is a win-win situation for me, man. That is the best result for me. So Mo, this is all up to you.
Yeah.
You have to
I
go
am
with this.
I am so goddamn passionately against tanking that it makes my teeth hurt. I'm ashamed to do a show with you guys. I'm ashamed.
Dude,
that
we have
I
no
fucking
choice.
call you friends.
We have no choice.
No, what are you talking about? No choice. Of course you have a goddamn choice. And
We can't choose
first of all,
these two teams.
you, Gino, especially you throw the tanking word around so liberally, and I got to tell you, these players don't know how to tank. Like that's another argument, in itself, another debate on its own. You're like, oh, the Lakers should be tanking. What are you gonna do? You're gonna tell their players to stop playing? They're playing for
which is what they
contract.
did.
No, but this is, you know what?
They
They're
told
playing
Mozgov
for
not to play.
contract.
Yeah, they told
Dude,
Mozgov
D'Angelo
and
Russell
Deng
was playing for
not to
legacy
play.
of being a bust and his job. All right, anyway, now, you know what?
All right,
I'm
okay,
going to
okay.
eat this fucker alive on the phone, so let's go. I can't
All right.
wait.
All
Start
right,
it!
Benedict, let's go. What are your arguments, buddy?
Yeah, let's hear this
Yeah.
bullshit.
I am totally for teams tanking their games to be able to get a good draft pick. Although I do agree that it's not a guarantee, but it gives the teams a higher chance for the draft to get a higher draft pick. Especially like yung nabanggit nga earlier, the team ni Gino, the Lakers, they have a top 3 protected draft pick for this year's draft. So it's only logical para sa kanila na mag-tank to get a higher to get a higher draft pick. Kasi pag natanggal sila sa top 3, they totally lose out on the top 3 pick. Yeah. And then I think it's also a good model na yung ginawa ng Philadelphia with Sam Hinkie, that process na ginawa ni Sam Hinkie, which they were able to accumulate talent at the same time, good talent. Yun nga lang, they were with injuries. So at least if they could get healthy, who knows, down the line they might be competitive. As mentioned earlier, the Lakers are tanking as well. Pero you can be entertaining at the same time while you're tanking. Kasi I do believe by tanking, hindi naman necessarily nagpapatalo ka. Kasi with regards to sa players, I don't believe players play para matalo. Kasi parang ang hirap naman yun sa psyche ng players. But within the game, yung coaches or yung management, they sit players out or they limit the players' minutes in order to lessen their chances of winning that particular game. So I think there's also a win-win situation to be able to develop yung mga players while at the same time lessening their chances of winning every game.
Okay. All right, Mo, you've been wanting this
believe what I'm
topic for
hearing.
a long time.
No, I don't. I don't, because I know I'll probably lose. Listen, I get why people do it. I hate it. So my argument is not what's right or what's wrong. It's what I hate. And I hate people who embrace tanking because, again, you're putting another black eye on this league, like resting players. And what are you sacrificing? You're sacrificing in this case. Now, okay, the rest. We talked about resting. Let me just kind of veer off for a little bit. We talked about resting, and we said how you're shortchanging your fan base by resting players or other teams' fan bases. It's bad for the league. It's bad for the spirit of the league. It's bad for the spirit of competitiveness. And growing up being a fan of the NBA, and I'm sure Jinno in the 80s, and you maybe, Aaron, in the 90s, we fell in love with this game because the stars were so badass and they were competitive and they were fucking men and they were like, just these bigger than life characters. And now they're just a bunch of resting pussies with teams losing on purpose so they can gamble on a lottery. It's called a lottery. You ever play the real lottery? How many of you motherfuckers have won? Zero. You know why? Because it's such a gamble. And yet, what are you gambling away? Entire years of people's lives rooting for a team that they so love. Like, you know how much money and time I've invested on a team, and then all of a sudden you're going to lose on purpose for 5 years? Like, you keep going, oh, look at what the 76ers have done. Look at the process. What have they done? Where the fuck are they? What's going on over there? How many years have they been bad? Tell me. How many years have they been the bottom? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years since they've been in the playoffs. Prior to that, a bunch of years, before that they weren't as well. So what? You're talking in the past 10 years. How many times have they pulled off a winning season? Does anybody remember?
No.
So what? You're going to trust this process? All of a sudden, it's working? Where are they right now? So they got the number 1 pick last year because they were trusting the process. Where is he? He didn't play one goddamn game. It's a black eye for the league. And you guys were all fans in the beginning because of the competitiveness of the stars, not because of the business aspect or the lottery or any of that, because we love this game. You're not going to entice free agents to come to your team when you promote losing. And this whole, let's look at this great role model in the 76ers. What are you talking about? They're awful. They've been awful. They're awful again. And give me an example where it does work.
Oklahoma City.
What do you mean? Go. What do you mean?
No,
Go.
no,
Tell me.
I mean
Stats. Facts. Go.
No, when they built through the draft, they did the Serge Ibaka, Russ, KD, Harden.
They
that
They didn't tank.
They didn't tank.
They didn't tank.
They never
They came from the
tanked.
Sonics.
Yeah, they never
Durant was in
tanked.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Westbrook drafted by Seattle.
So I guess
They didn't tank.
They did.
And if you're going to say the 76ers are a success rate or success model, what about the Sacramento Kings? They've been tanking for fucking forever. They still suck, and they're awful.
Yeah, the Suns too.
Orlando Magic, awful.
The Spurs did it.
New York Knicks, awful.
The Spurs
There
did
are
it.
teams out. Yeah, I'm blown away that you guys embrace this. And in
wait,
fact,
okay.
it's poser fandom that you guys are showing me. Posers, you are. And look what the Lakers are going to do, okay? So they tanked, right? And they got D'Angelo Russell, right? Then they tanked, and they got Brandon Ingram. Now they're tanking again. Guess what? The motherfucker that they're going to get in the draft is going to replace one of those guys. So what? You get Lonzo Ball. Then what
of all-
happens to the guy you tanked for in D'Angelo Russell? Now you got to get rid of that guy. Jesus.
Probably,
Go ahead, Benedict.
just in case, the Lakers win the lottery and they get Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo
then
Ball. Yeah. Let's
Yeah,
say Lonzo
then
Ball.
they-
Hometown kid. What are you
then
going to do with D'Angelo Russell, Benedict?
They could probably trade him for another piece.
Oh, so you trade him. So that whole year that the fan base suffered, so you can get your hands on shiny D'Angelo Russell, now you traded him away because you suffered them so you could get Lonzo Ball. What's next?
For
Let me
me,
guess what's next. Next year, the best guy is going to be Zion Williamson, or whoever the hell that kid is, and he's a power forward. Oh, but we have Julius Randle. You know what? Fuck it. Let's just go get Zion and just ship Julius Randle off. You guys are idiots. And you guys are posers.
Hey,
basketball fan posers.
Hey, okay. So this is my thing with tanking. Okay, I hate that my team is losing.
Dude,
I hate it with a freaking passion.
I don't think anybody likes tanking.
No,
You do it. They do it out of necessity.
Yes, I mean if my team, the Suns, are going to be losing anyway, we might as well lose good at it.
Tank.
You know-
At least you
you know
get
what I
a
mean?
chance to get a high
Oh my
draft
God! I can't believe I'm hearing this.
And then I will just
if we're
change the
going to
channel.
lose,
Let's do
let's
it good.
just try to be good at it. First
Yes.
of all, let me go back to my initial point in this whole goddamn debate. Players don't tank.
No, they
They're
don't.
not. It's not in their DNA.
No,
You know
it's
who
the
tanks? You
management and
pussies
the
as
coach.
fans and the management. I don't even think the coach, because he's playing for his job too.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you think D'Angelo Russell's sucking on purpose so the Lakers can lose?
No, he's just
when
sucking.
now all of a sudden we're thinking of trading him, or he got benched, a couple of weeks ago. These guys are not tanking. You can't get mad at the Lakers for winning. The other day, the Knicks beat the Pistons. The Pistons are trying to win that game so they can get to the playoffs. The Knicks are trying to lose it, quote unquote, so they can get a fucking playoff spot. I mean, a lottery spot. Oh, but guess what? The Knicks lost, and all of a sudden everyone's like, "Look, Knicks, what are you guys doing? You're supposed to be losing that." You're gonna tell the players that they're supposed to lose on purpose so they get paid less in their next contract, so they get threatened to be demoted to the D League or traded to another team. It's not even realistic to think that they're tanking. It's not realistic.
It's the management.
They don't
that
do
really
it.
Does it?
Yeah.
You think I'm going to sacrifice my reputation as a basketball player, my stats, that's going to get me a better contract because I want a better lottery pick for one player that we're not even sure is going to pan out?
Yep. Well, all right. With that being
Crazy.
said,
No, but I mean,
Crazy.
No, look, the reason why I think at least
Time
I
out.
can speak
Boston
from.
Celtics, the number one team in the Eastern Conference right now. Number one team in the Eastern Conference. If you go to analytical websites, and I don't know how credible these are, but they have them as the third favorite to win an NBA title behind the Spurs, behind the Warriors and the Spurs respectively, right? Guess what pick they likely have this coming season?
first pick.
Number one. Yep. Guess who has enough cap space in their budget to sign a max player?
Boston.
Boston Celtics. And they got the number one pick.
All right.
So they've
You know what-
got
you know what-
a team
you know what else?
already that's the best in their conference. They've got enough room for a max player to come in this offseason, and they likely have the goddamn number one pick.
And you know what
How'd
else?
they do
though?
that?
So,
Okay,
Mo,
are you
saying
how the Boston Celtics did this before? They tanked. They tanked years ago before it was even called tanking.
No. Mo, are you saying that tanking is the work of lazy GMs?
No, I don't know. No,
I mean,
tanking is the work of the devil.
If you look at what Boston did, that is Danny Ainge just pulling out all sorts of
And
awesomeness.
it's also a new team owner.
Yeah.
With the Brooklyn Nets, who wanted.
But
to,
see, he knew that. But I mean, Danny Ainge
He
saw
didn't listen.
that.
No. What Danny Ainge did is he traded his aging core group that won him championships,
To the-
right? Because they were certainly not going to. And he traded them for younger players. That's not tanking. That's just you being a GM.
Yeah.
Losing on purpose is tanking.
Yes.
Getting rid of aging stars and not paying them for their reputation or their name, that's smart basketball.
It is smart
okay?
basketball. I'm talking
Right.
about the Boston
But-
Celtics tanking years. I'm talking about
Yeah,
more than
by
a decade
trading
ago.
away.
No. Not this core, not this group. I'm talking about the group that went after Tim Duncan. Even I'm talking about that Celtics generation with the Antoine Walkers, the Ron Mercers, those
Damn,
guys.
Ron Mercer.
Oh.
Man. All right. Well, so with that being said, Gino, who do you think wins?
I mean,
Excuse me,
look,
I'm vomiting.
Mo is absolutely right in the sense that nobody likes tanking. But
I
you
didn't say
have
anyone
to
liked it.
you
I didn't say
have
anyone
to
liked it.
you have to accept reality. Like if you're a fan of the Suns
Which I am.
or the Lakers,
Which you are.
you have to face it and embrace it because there is no other way. You're going to go crazy. You're going to go absolutely insane if you think, oh, there's no such thing. Oh, my God, you have to be competitive all the time. You have to be professional. I get it.
No,
I get it.
listen. No. We just before Benedict, our caller, we were talking to James, and what was our topic? We were talking Devin Booker versus Kristaps Porzingis, and we were talking about the draft, right? How many of those guys on that draft are worthwhile?
Miles Turner.
Worth
The tank.
suffering an entire calendar year for.
That's 4 players. Off the top of my head.
Maybe.
That's Miles, D-Book, Kristaps, and Kat. That's it.
That's about it.
So you gave your entire fan base a year's worth of garbage product for the chance of, now let's get the mathematics right here. If you got 30 guys or thereabouts in the first round and only 4 of them become worthwhile, that you give your fan base an 11% chance of getting a better player or a worthwhile player.
Yeah,
That's what you're telling them. That I'm going to let you suffer for 1 year so we can have an 11% chance of getting a possible worthwhile player. When, if you just tried hard, if you played hard, maybe you can entice a proven commodity and a free agent to come to your city and play for you. The Lakers have big budget, big market that can make these players, get a lot of money through endorsements and whatnot, and yet they don't even use that. They don't use that chip. Instead, they lose on purpose. The Lakers?
They've tried to use anything, but they've failed at it.
Well,
so they have
They didn't, because nobody wants to play with goddamn Kobe Bryant. That's why.
Well, that was Kobe signing a 2-year extension was also a form of tanking. It was.
Oh my God!
It
No,
was.
no.
It was. They signed him to an extension when he was still injured.
That's not tanking.
And it was business because
we don't have
because
enough.
the cable company would only pay the Lakers that amount of money if Kobe Bryant was part of that.
Then that's not tanking. That's not tanking. That's selling seats.
It's
selling seats.
It's tanking because they knew that they weren't going to be competitive with Kobe.
No, we've seen this.
To be that bloated.
We've seen this in many other sports where you reward a player for their loyalty to your and what they've brought to your franchise by overpaying them. That's not out of the realm.
It is both, Mo.
No.
It is both.
No.
They knew that they wanted to give Kobe.
You think Kobe Bryant, the Kobe Bryant, the most competitive man I've ever met in my
would
life,
have accepted it? Yes.
would accept it.
There's 50 million reasons why he would.
No.
Hell no. Because why? He's not benefiting from it now. Is he
got
benefiting
$50
from the
million
Lakers? Yeah, I know, but right now.
In 2 years of playing what?
I don't know. I agree with Mo there. We've all of us have talked to Kobe, and we all know his competitive nature. You tell Kobe, all right, I'm going to pay $50 million, but you're going to have to lose.
Yeah, so you can lose on purpose.
Of course, they didn't tell him.
Yeah,
that.
but I mean,
nobody's going to say, hey, we're going to pay you this much amount of money, and we know you're going to suck. Of course, they're going to play his ego, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
they're going to play his ego, and they know he's broke down.
So
already.
okay, all right. So just to close this out, Jinno, who are you going to vote for here, Mo or Benedict?
Benedict, I totally understand. No, Mo, I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I hate the word. I really even hate the word tank.
You say it so
But-
generously.
But after the past how many years that the Lakers have
read
been
it on your Twitter.
so
How dare you.
awful. They've been so awful for what, 5 years now, 4 years now. So I have to accept it. We don't live in a perfect world.
Okay.
And I have to accept the fact that hey, teams do it. May as well fucking.
All right. So
Ride with
you're
it.
voting for Benedict.
the stink of losing. You put it on your team. It's a smell.
It
that sticks there
sucks.
for a long time.
Okay.
It sticks there for a long
sucks.
time.
As
it's a losing culture.
I have been cheering for a team that has not ever won a championship, and we have not been very good. Period.
And you're not even
so
from-
I'm not even from Phoenix. I've never even fucking been there. You know what I mean? I was just like,
Oh my God, really?
so this is what I'm gonna say. That I think that it is me trying to tell myself that all right, we're doing this for the best. You know, and I hate it. I hate that I have to lie to myself and just look at it and just be like, all right, no, we're losing because for the future.
We all hate it.
And
But
I
it's-
hate it.
You
And I
know,
think it's a
listen,
scapegoat that I tell
no,
myself.
no, listen,
But
I gotta
I
tell you,
agree. I agree with Mo entirely.
Okay.
I mean, if
the
you break it
Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks are one of the worst teams in the NBA this season, right?
Yes.
They were destined to be probably the favorite. Well, not the favorite, maybe the worst team in the Western Conference, right? Because Brooklyn was probably the favorite to be the worst in the NBA. But their owner and Mark Cuban, and this is where I give him my some love. He's like, hell no, we're not tanking. We're not tanking. And their team was decimated. That's a crap team. Now they're 4 games out of the playoff spot, so they're not going to get there. But they were able to improve themselves to even be in the conversation of a playoff team when they were in the conversation of being the worst team in the Western Conference early on in the season. We saw that with Miami as well. Miami 11-30 to start the year. Oh yeah, clearly lottery bound, and now they're the 8th seed in the playoffs because you know what? They don't take that shit. Spoelstra doesn't take that shit. Their owner, their management, Pat Riley doesn't take that shit. Fucking Mark Cuban doesn't take that shit. They say no to that pussy, loser, poser mentality of you guys promoting tanking. They say feh to that shit. And now they're either a playoff team or knocking on the playoff team door, and they're going to be able to entice players to go there because it's not a loser first mentality. Amen.
Amen.
So in about 2 years, when these two franchises have fallen off the the NBA,
Yeah. And guess who's going to be playing for them? D'Angelo Russell.
so
Starting point guard for Dallas.
when the Mavs have no draft picks, no lottery picks.
Yeah.
When
right.
the Miami Heat,
When the Lakers, after letting their fan base suffer for 3 years, trade D'Angelo for Lonzo Ball so he can be there, and they put him onto Dallas.
Please
and guess
trade
what?
D'Angelo.
Dallas got a Nerlens Noel in a steal. You know why? Because they're not tanking.
Yeah.
So they just got better.
All right. Sorry, Benedict. I'm going to have to go with Mo on this one despite my team tanking. But, hey, you got one vote. Congratulations, brother.
Thanks.
Thanks for calling in the show.
Benedict, I'm only angry at you when we debate. But when it's over, I love you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
are you the Pau Gasol fan? Is that better?
Yes, I think he is.
No.
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 Okay, now I hate you back.
Because Mo said he loves him, so I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Benedict.
Okay, all right.
But
in case,
I'm
Benedict,
definitely
you
a
want to get your ass kicked again, please call us back next week. I'll be more than glad.
But I'm definitely a big Mo fan.
Oh, there you go. See?
Okay. Yeah, I like
That-
you again.
that-
buddy. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thanks,
Benedict.
buddy. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
Man, this was a heated episode. This was a...
Man, listen, resting and tanking pissed me off. It just pisses me off. I can't handle it, man.
Well,
It really does.
Well, you know
I
what?
hate it.
We need some rest.
Yep.
We'll see you guys again next week. That wraps
That's a
up
good
this
point.
episode of Ball Hogs
I
PH.
need to rest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've been working all day, Mo. You get some rest. You watch some TV. We're out of here.
Stress.
For Gino Rufino, Aaron Atayde, Mo Twister in Vegas. We're out of here. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.